You will only go as far in life as your subconscious programming allows you to go. So how active your subconscious mind is what is going to determine how much resistance it is that you are creating right now towards living an amazing life and feeling amazing yourself. If your subconscious mind is in a good state or a bad state, it's going to vary a lot from person to person, and it depends upon who you are and what you've been through in your life so far. So when you have an overactive subconscious mind, it doesn't really matter how hard you try to improve your life, because you will feel roughly the same and have somewhat similar results in your life as you had before. And that remains the case even if you try to change something, which I know is a really shitty feeling to be met with over and over, because I've been there myself. And unfortunately, this continues to happen unless you learn to work with your subconscious to improve its state, so you can become free of the previous limitations it always had in place on you. So before we go any further, what is it that creates your experience of life, whether it is good or bad? It is your internal world, and it is not what is happening to you or around you, despite popular belief. Because your inner world shapes your personality, which in turn creates your reality, like Joe Dispenza says. Your personality includes your thoughts, your reactions, your attitude, behavior, how you take action, and so on. And it is the quality of those things that you do that manifest your reality into its current state, whatever that is. You always manifest your outer world as a reflection of your internal world. Whether you are aware of how you do that or not is not really relevant. Because you're always creating your life for better or worse, either as an unconscious person or as a conscious person. At the end of the day, you are always creating your experience of life. You are doing that. So, what exactly is negative programming? It's the things that we keep doing that is not in our highest good, that takes us off our, let's say, most optimal course in life. Do you know what lies at the core of the negative things you are doing within your personality that keeps you from going further? Some examples are negative thoughts about yourself. Maybe you are not believing in yourself. Perhaps you are never trying new things. You could have insecurity, staying in a job you hate. If you have addictions to your phone, porn, TV, or if you're always searching for relationships, or if it's something else. At the core of all of those things lies uncomfortable emotions that we are trying to run from. And this is something I didn't understand myself for so long, because I was very disconnected from my emotions for a long time of my life. Which is not really strange, because I lived my life as a person that never really allowed myself to feel what I was feeling deep down. And that is because I slowly programmed myself over the course of my life to always be engaged in my negative habits, which over time also taught my body to suppress the emotions it was experiencing and bury them beneath the surface where I didn't perceive them anymore and couldn't access them. So what I just shared with you also explains the mechanics of how the subconscious mind works, because the subconscious mind is a protection mechanism that is designed to take you away from pain. And the pain it is taking you away from is uncomfortable and challenging emotions that you never learned how to process in your past. And there's only one way to hide it. And it is by developing negative parts of your personality, so that we are distracted from those challenging emotions by our heavy engagements in, let's say, negative thoughts or people pleasing, for example. What is keeping so many from going further in life is their emotional state. Because your emotional state beneath the surface is what your subconscious is using as fuel for the negative programming that is currently sabotaging your life. Whatever those sabotaging things are will be unique to you, so only you can become aware of what those things are. Something that is really good to understand is that pretty much every negative thing that we do for our higher good is because of a disconnect from our real true selves at the core, and instead a conditioned programming that relies upon the survival mechanism that is the subconscious mind, which is driven by the purpose to suppress and escape challenging emotions or trauma from our past experiences. You might be aware of some of the things that you are doing already that are keeping you from living your best life, that are sabotaging for you. But I promise you that most likely you are unaware and unconscious of the big actors in your ego and subconscious mind that are truly keeping you back right now, because that is how the subconscious mind works. It keeps it hidden from your conscious awareness. Do you know what is really amazing about a person that is not heavily weighed down by subconscious programming? Life is flowy, it's effortless and amazing. When you look at children, for example, it's hard to not notice the vitality and joy that they have for the world and everything around them that is just so innocent and pure about them. They are closer to a human's natural state. But how come? I hear so many people that think life was better in the past. Some say things seemed more colorful when they were younger. But I don't think it was ever about the age. It was only ever about the current state of their subconscious that had not yet imposed all of the limitations from the experiences in its environment as of yet. Things such as society, family dynamics, friends and so on. Those things didn't so far leave such a lasting imprint on our emotional state and programming. That stuff came later, and it led many into confusion, depression, stress, and a life where things are not going our way. All because we programmed ourselves and lost touch with our heart and intuition as a guide that knows the way to our joy and fulfillment. Because instead of that reality, we are now stuck in an unconscious place where we are using our survival instrument as a compass to achieve our higher good. But it will never know the way to our greatest life. It just makes us adapt in ways to survive, but never to actually thrive. It takes us away from our natural state where things are effortless and straightforward, and instead into a state that is so heavy and daunting. And it all happens as we lose our ability to be who we are slowly as we condition the negative programming. As we get lost in the power of the subconscious mind that conforms us to be who we think that we should be and not who we truly are. I mentioned that our emotional state is what fuels our subconscious programming. Another word for emotional state that you might be aware of is energy or vibration. And so to change the programming, raising your vibration is the solution. But how do you do that exactly? You need to teach your body to bring out the emotions that it's suppressed under the surface. You need to learn to be in the uncomfortable space of not acting out your programming, and learn to become conscious of that unconscious world that you have lost touch with. You need to make the choice to not be a running person anymore and become a facing and processing person instead, that integrates and transmutes the emotions instead of leaving them for the subconscious to deal with as you did on autopilot for most of your life so far. And I want you to know that the more you develop the habit of being in that uncomfortable space of not acting out your programming, it will over time lead you to become more present and conscious of the things that caused that programming in the first place. And this is the hard part, I know, because it can be so painful to feel like you are not loved, you're not accepted, you're lonely, that there is something wrong with you or whatever it is. To not act out your programming, to not be your old character and instead slow down and move away from all of those things that you used to do, can make you want to rip your hair out, or you just get depressed as your life doesn't really make sense anymore. What I'm trying to say is that it's hard to slow down and become a conscious person. That's why we lived our life chasing that relationship, chasing that success, having those addictions, and distracting ourselves with our negative habits, whatever they were, because of those painful emotions that are there under the surface. But it's worth it to do this beyond what you can even comprehend from your current state of consciousness, because your state of consciousness is also going to evolve and get bigger and raise as you go through this process, and your ability to experience joy and amazing things in your life is going to increase. And that comes as a result of you being able to embrace these things that was painful. It's yin and yang. In order to have the good, you must also first process these not so good things that is going on deep within you right now. The more you learn to feel and process emotions by bringing conscious awareness to them, the more your vibration will raise, the more your consciousness will expand. As a result, the programming that is holding you back and making it so that your experience of life doesn't get better will be gone, and you'll connect more and more to your natural, effortless higher self that guides you towards your best life without all of the struggles that maybe you've been used to as you were previously run by your negative programming that is very hard to escape. Check out my free 30-minute subconscious success course if you want to learn how to start this process. The link is in the description. I'll see you there.